Thank you so much, Dan, for that sobering and yet hopeful talk. In their path forward, we talk about focusing on water, on wildfires, and the changing coastal zone, using the kinds of technologies that Dan mentioned. The digital transformation of health is one of the things that we've talked about from the very beginning of Calit2, in which we called it digitally enabled genomic medicine, a name that John Woolley and Mark Ellisman and others helped bring together. The idea that we would go from a world of basically memory and association to help doctors recognize when we have problems, to a world of really prevention and personalization and quantitative analysis. We are well into that revolution, and it's a good thing because this country is in dire straits when it comes to health care, both in terms of the actual health and well-being of our citizenry, which is getting much, much worse, and the healthcare system itself. Those are involved with each other, and we believe that there is hope, as Drew Seigne is going to tell you. Now, Drew has been a tremendous help to Calit2. He is one of the leading venture capitalists in California, and in fact is the managing director of Enterprise Partners, where Bob Kahn also served. He has 25 years of experience building emerging life and healthcare companies. He's had 30 patents, inventor of the first FDA-approved test to predict premature birth, which is now used by over 1 million women worldwide. He was the past chair of the UCSD Jacobs School of Engineering Advisory Council. And in 2006, Forbes magazine named Dr. Seigne as one of the top 100 venture capitalists, but only 9 of those were healthcare investors. So here you have somebody who the country looks to for leadership, intellectual leadership, on what's coming in the digital transformation of health. Drew?
Thanks. Well, thank you. It's certainly a pleasure and honor to be here. It's great to have Irvine participate. I began my career as a physician as a resident in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at UC Irvine a long time ago. I completed that, but in the last 25 years I've been birthing companies more than I've been birthing babies. So it's really a great honor to be here. So I'd like to talk about a unique moment in time that we're experiencing today. There's been a remarkable coincidence of fundamental breakthroughs in biology, genomics, information technologies, and communications, all of it exemplified by the ability to bring those disciplines together here at Calit2. We have this unique opportunity because we face some very significant challenges in healthcare. Unfortunately, 95% of diseases really don't have any cures today. And the question is, how do we find those cures, and how do we do that cost effectively, and how can we define optimum health? So not much has changed really in the definition of health since the World Health Organization in 1948 defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. And I'm going to leave it to wiser minds to figure out how to get the complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But I will talk about how we can perhaps remedy the many diseases that face us today. There's been significant progress in biology, and there's been significant progress in medicine. But if you take an objective look, we really can only prevent a handful of diseases with vaccines today. We have antibiotics that can cure most conditions that we face, although we still face many bacterial infections that are resistant to antibiotics. And we can detect cancers early enough that we can treat and we have had some great improvement in that. Perhaps the most compelling advance has been our improved longevity. At about the time of the World Health Organization founding, the average life expectancy was 48 years. Today it's well over 66 years. However, this has come at a great cost, and that cost is chronic diseases, many of them which are plaguing our society, hypertension, diabetes, and so forth. Now, healthcare is a very complex, multifactorial, interrelated system, but there are four major determinants that make up what we call health today. Certainly human biology plays an important role, the environment, the food, the toxins, and so forth, lifestyle choices that people make, and the healthcare system itself and how it allocates resources is important, fundamentally defining what the health status of individuals today is. So how are we doing in terms of allocating those resources? Unfortunately, the United States is not doing very well. We are almost double in our spending on healthcare than other developed countries, approaching, at the current trend, 18% of GDP, and if the current trend continues, we'll reach 30% of GDP by 2040 and 97% by the turn of the century. Clearly an unsustainable trend that will not sustain itself. Warren Buffett has called this rising U.S. healthcare costs the economic tapeworm eating our economy, and it's very true. We need to do much better, and we can do much better. So what are those conditions that are causing this amount of economic consternation? There are 7 major conditions, mostly as a result of our longevity, that take up 75% of our budget in health care. Now, these conditions, for the most part, can be avoided through lifestyle changes, including smoking and, in particular, obesity. And just to give a sense of what that would do if we were to just prevent the consequences and sequelae of obesity, a Millikan study has shown that the economy would save approximately $1.3 trillion in both direct costs and indirect costs if we could tackle obesity as one of the sources that cause these avoidable diseases. Now, obesity has become a global epidemic. In the last 20 years, in the United States, we've increased 14% the adults that are overweight and obese. As a matter of fact, worldwide, there has been an increase in caloric intake in all countries except Eastern Europe. It's amazing that despite this, that we still are worried about food production, which is, I think, appropriate, but the calories we're taking in are really the wrong kind of calories. Obesity itself is a very challenging, multifactorial problem. It has genes that predispose you to obesity, environmental exposure, and also something that's very much new but unknown is some environmental factor. If you look at the animals that live near us, the cats, dogs, and even the lab animals, there's been a steady increase in their weight over the last 30 to 40 years. So we can really tackle obesity. We would really put a lot of doctors out of work. We could save over $100 billion in indirect costs, and we could do that in a way that would benefit the economy.